I need to tell you this story. Not because I want to scare you, but because, one day, you might find yourself in the same trap, and when that happens, I hope you realize it before it's too late. It all started on a perfectly ordinary day. I had just moved into a small, old apartment building. 3 floors, no elevator, no security, just narrow stairs, peeling wallpaper, and a silence that felt a little too heavy. My new unit was to be. The moment I opened the door, that smell hit me. Old wood, dust, damp air, and something else. Something like a forgotten breath. But I told myself it was fine. A little paint, a little cleaning, and everything would be normal at least. That's what I thought. That evening, I lay on the couch, watching some random show on my phone. Then I noticed something strange. When a character on the show screamed, my walls echoed the sound, but the echo wasn't the same as the original voice. It came a second late, deeper, quieter, almost like someone whispering the same words behind me. I paused the video. Silence filled the room. I'm tired, I told myself. That's all. Later, I went to wash my face. When I lifted my head, my reflection didn't follow immediately. It blinked. A heartbeat too late. I froze, raised my hand. The reflection copied me, but not in sync. A glitch, a delay, like a video buffering. Then, as if nothing had happened, the reflection corrected itself. Perfectly normal. I convinced myself it was stress, lack of sleep, new environment. But that night, things only got worse. The next morning, as I walked down the stairs, my footsteps echoed behind me. But the echo wasn't an echo. It was something stepping half a second after I did. I stopped. The footsteps stopped. I breathed in. Someone or something breathed in too. I forced myself outside and told myself it was nothing. But when I returned home after work, the silence inside my apartment didn't feel empty. It felt interrupted, like someone had been talking and stopped the moment I opened the door. I kicked my shoes off and muttered, "Relax. You're home." And then, from inside the wall, my voice answered back, "Relax. You're home." But it wasn't my voice. It was deeper, damaged, like a version of me that had been repeating the same sentences for years. I spun around, heart pounding. The apartment was empty. But in the bedroom, the edge of the mattress showed a fresh, human-shaped indentation, as if someone had been sitting there just seconds before I walked in. That evening, the mirror glitches grew worse. My reflection had dark circles I didn't have, a small cut on the cheek that wasn't on my skin. And when I touched my own face, the reflection's fingers came away wet with blood. I slammed the bathroom door shut. Something was deeply, horribly wrong. I went upstairs trying to talk to the old man in 3B. When he finally cracked his door open, his eyes widened when he saw me. "Leave," he whispered. "You shouldn't be here." I tried to introduce myself, but he shook his head violently. "You moved in 2 months ago," he said. "You lived here, and then you left. The apartment has been empty since, but your voice never left." My mouth went dry. "I moved in yesterday," I whispered. He stared at me through me, as if looking at something standing behind me. "No," he said, "you're not the first version." He slammed the door shut. I ran downstairs, and as I reached the bottom, I heard a familiar voice, my own voice. "Hi, I'm here to see the empty unit, to be, right?" That was exactly what I said 2 days earlier, when I first came to view the apartment. But now, it was happening again, playing again, like the building was stuck in a loop, or replaying memories that didn't belong to this reality. When I reached the ground floor, there was no one there, just the empty hallway. But the door handle turned on its own, slowly, and from behind it, through the darkness, my own voice whispered, "Welcome back." I stumbled backward, heart hammering against my ribs. I ran to my apartment, locked the door, and slid down to the floor. But the worst part was still ahead. That night, the TV flickered on by itself, static. Then a picture, my living room, from above. as if someone had set a camera in the corner of the ceiling. The room was empty at first, then suddenly there I was, sitting on the couch, holding my head in my hands. But I wasn't on the couch. I was standing in front of the TV, staring at myself. My double lifted its head, stared right at the camera, right at me. Its lips moved, slow, echoing tone. "Which one are you?" The screen went black. I started covering every mirror, turning every reflective surface away, because every time I glanced at one, my reflection lagged, just enough to tell me it wasn't exactly my reflection anymore. Around 1:37 a.m., something impossible happened. I checked my phone. 1:37. Closed my eyes. Put the phone down. Then the screen lit up again. Still 1:37. Again and again. Time wasn't moving, or I wasn't. Then a light appeared under my door. I approached slowly, and a whisper leaked through the crack. "Ready? This time, which one will you be?" I opened the door and the entire hallway had changed. The walls were darker. The apartment numbers were different. The building layout was completely wrong, as if I had stepped into a different version of the same place, a warped one. I looked at what should have been my door. The number was wrong, but the light coming from under it, I recognized that light. I looked through the keyhole. Inside the room were two versions of me. One looked exhausted, eyes blackened from lack of sleep. The other was whispering to himself, "Which one left? Which one stayed? Which one is real?" Then both lifted their heads and stared directly into the keyhole, into my eye. Slow, cold whisper, "You're too late." The door handle turned. I stumbled back and suddenly, I was in my apartment again. Everything normal, except for one thing. On my table was the rental contract I signed on Marvin Day, but the date said 2 months ago, and under my signature was a shaky line of handwriting. If you're reading this, you're the second version. The clock on the wall ticked normally, but the second hand never moved, yet the ticking sound continued. Every tick felt like another version of me waking up somewhere in the house. Sometimes I hear breathing in the room before I enter. Sometimes my bed is warm on the side I haven't slept on. And sometimes, when I watch my own videos, I notice something strange. My recorded voice changes one line. Instead of saying, "I'm telling you this story for your own good," the version on the video says, "I'm telling you this story because next time, it will be your voice telling it." And right now, as you listen to this, you might think you're just hearing my story, but maybe your reflection is already lagging behind you. Maybe your voice already has a second version, and maybe, just maybe you've already moved into one of the repeating rooms.